Hello and welcome to the Godless Engineer on this Wednesday night for the stand-up. If you don't know what the stand-up is, this is our time to really kind of take notice in what's happening in our secular community, see what's happening in the world around us, for us to discuss some important topics that have been coming up. Now, in case you're wondering what we're going to be covering in this particular episode, we're going to be talking about California stifling some atheist scholarships. One particular school in California is being sued by a couple of organizations for not promoting their scholarships that they offer high school students to give them to get to go to college. And then we're going to cover an Idaho representative who feels that kids dying because their parents decided to pray instead of taking them to the hospital or to a doctor because they had a simple infection thinks that it's just natural, that it's just a good thing. And then finally, Harriet Tubman's getting put on the $20 bill, which I have to say is pretty substantial change for our money. I mean, it's the first woman in a very long time that's going to be on any kind of currency that we have. So, I think that's pretty important. But something else is that we're changing the face of it, but yet we still trust in God. That's our main story for tonight. But first, we are talking about this scholarship out in California. The scholarship out in California is a school has decided that they aren't going to promote a couple of scholarships by a couple of secular organizations, namely, and let me get the specific organizations pulled up here. The Freedom from Religion Foundation and the Antelope Valley Free Thinkers. This was the Antelope Valley Union School Board. They are actively blocking these scholarships from these groups because apparently the essays that they have to write might offend parental sensibilities. That's just a bullshit reason in order to, persecute atheists. Personally, I don't like the word persecute. I think the word persecute has been way overused by the Christian right. And so, but they are actively, they're actively against anything that is not religious. I mean, they're even fucking promoting Scientology. They're promoting Scientology, but yet fuck the atheists, right? Just because they want to write papers that are on the topic of how hard it is to be a free thinker in Antelope Valley, or how hard it is to be secular in Antelope Valley. Apparently putting that out there, making people aware of that was going to offend way too many people. Personally, I say, fuck your offense. Fuck your sensibilities. Seriously. I mean, if you get offended by the title of a paper that somebody has to write to get an essay, well, don't write the essay. Don't try out for that scholarship. I mean, seriously, I don't ever see, like, Stephen Molyneux, I don't know if you know that guy from YouTube, but he has recently, scholarship. Sorry. He has recently said that atheists love big government and like to use government in order to push their agenda. It's not so much that we like to push our agenda using the government, it's that we use the government properly in order to enforce law. And this is a clear violation of the law. You can't discriminate against one group of people just because they believe differently than I would assume is most of the state or most of the county that they're in. That is textbook discrimination. And they should sue this particular school board. I mean, if you're going to be that bigoted about it, you should get fucking sued. You should get you should lose the lawsuit. And you should have to promote those scholarships. I mean, you're talking about a lot of individual students out there that could be writing these papers, that could be expressing their thoughts, expressing how hard it is to be a free thinker, to be a secular person, a secular kid, nonetheless, in that area. You could gain some real insight into these things just by reading these goddamn essays. But no. Some parents out there might get offended because, oh my God, there's atheists all around. Holy shit. It's like, hold the phone. We got to go and we got to get shit done. We got to get our pitchforks. We got to chase all of these motherfuckers out here. We got to light our pitchforks on fire and act like they're Frankenstein. Which, incidentally, Frankenstein was the actual doctor, not the monster. But I don't expect Christians to actually read shit in high school. Now, if you just flip the shit on this a little bit, and you have a more secular school board that was saying, oh, these religious papers that you're having to write on how it's okay to shoot homosexuals and how it's God's word and God's law in order for homosexuals to die or something like that. If we started stifling that, which, I mean, if you wanted to write a paper on that, I don't think that anybody should stop you. I really don't, because it is in the Bible. I mean, you might not find that to be a popular opinion, but I don't think that you should be stopped from writing that particular article. But I don't see a more secular school board stifling it. But if they did like block those scholarships, block all those religious scholarships, they would they would scream persecution. They would be the first ones to get up there and just be like, we're being persecuted. We're being persecuted to hell. Do you understand me? And you're violating our First Amendment rights, our religious freedoms and all that, which they would be correct. That would be a violation of the First Amendment. That would be a violation of their religious freedoms. I agree with that. It would be. But at the same time, a more secular school board isn't going to do that because we hold the First Amendment at such a high regard. We hold religious freedoms at such a high regard. We understand the fact that we came over here from Europe in order to escape religious persecution so that we could, practice religion however the fuck we want to, which includes practicing no fucking religion at all. Now, it's not like these religious papers that they were having to write for these scholarships or these secular papers that they were having to write for these scholarships were like, how fucking dumb is Christian right people? It's not like it was anything like that. I could see them throwing a hissy over that. That would be very unprofessional for you to do. But making it very personal about the student, making the student really express how they feel, I don't see how that could in any way offend a parent. And if it does offend a parent, fuck you. Okay, can't see that. Fuck you. Fuck you. Finally, fuck you in the camera. Seriously, that's what I would say to him is fuck you. I mean, that's all that I have. But that is the scholarship. Which, incidentally, the Blaze got a hold of this, and all of these links are down below if you would love to check them out for yourself. The Blaze just reports the bare core information in a little bit different way, though. What the Blaze did is they used the word allegedly a lot, as if to cast doubt on whether or not the school board actually did it. But the school board actively said that they blocked them on purpose because they didn't want to offend the religious sensibilities of people in the community. Because they felt that asking a kid how hard it is to be an atheist or how hard it is to be a freethinker or how hard it is to be a secularist in the Antelope Valley area was going to offend people. Like, seriously, you want to be an ostrich, stick your head in the ground and not even and just totally disregard a good portion of the population and what they're going through? Seriously? That's not smart, especially with the nuns growing and whatnot. You might want to pay a bit more attention to the secular crowd, and start treating them as equals, at least in this respect. I'm really sorry for my nose running. I'm sick if you can't tell. So I'm trying to keep my snot on watch. uh, but anyways, so next, um, you guys don't. Sorry. If you guys don't know, this is Christy Perry. Christy Perry is a GOP representative in Idaho. She represents an area of Idaho where her constituents are primarily the followers of Christ. They're a sect of Christians that like to forego medical practices, forego medicine, forego medical technology in the hopes that prayer will cure basic shit that we've already cured. And it's not that we've cured it with like advanced like medical shit. No, it's like we've cured it with like antibiotics. Simple shit that we've had for like 50 fucking years. They don't want to use it because apparently that would infringe on their religious freedoms. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about where religious freedoms, like where we should draw the line at being able to infringe upon religious freedoms. Personally, I think that when it involves putting the life of a child at risk, I think at that point we should really draw the line. And I mean, a lot of people out there would disagree with me over with Catholics and the priests, but I I'm still thinking on it, but right now I'm really thinking that we need to treat them like lawyers, like doctors with medical reports and whatnot, because your medical information is confidential. But and that's specifically with psychologists and whatnot. But if you confess to your psychologist, like, hey, buddy, yeah, I'm my neighbor. I'm gonna go rape her, and then I'm gonna fucking kill her tonight. That sounds like a good Wednesday night, doesn't it? If a medical patient, if a psychiatric patient tells that to their psychiatrist or their therapist, they are required by law in order to call the police. And I kind of think the same thing with priests. I know that there's a lot of different people out there that have different opinions on that, and I would love to hear your opinions. I would love to start that conversation. I would love to be convinced otherwise, because I mean, if I can be convinced otherwise, then that means that I have more information. I'm better informed. But back to the issue at hand here with this Idaho GOP representative. She feels that it infringes upon the religious freedoms. And I think that that's bullshit. I think that it's bullshit because she is trying to paint this as a persecution thing. She went on Al Jazeera and she said that, is this really because our death rate in my particular area of Idaho is like twice or 10 times that of the mortality rate of the entire fucking state? That's true, by the way. This particular sect of Christians has a child mortality rate that's reported child mortality rate that's 10 times higher than the entire fucking state of Idaho. She was like, she told Al Jazeera, is it really because our child mortality rate is so fucking high? Or is it because they just don't like our religious practices? Like, they don't agree with our religion. I have to laugh at that. Because if it was really about the religion, if it was just solely about the religious aspect, like we don't agree with your religion, we don't agree with, what your beliefs are, then I think that they would be getting attacked on different levels. Not just, hey, you're fucking killing your kids because you're sitting there watching them die, which is one of the most inhumane things that you can fucking do. Which is actually a direct quote from a former sect member. The sect member said that it was pretty inhumane to just sit there and pray and watch a child die. You don't even fucking do that to prisoners. The state doesn't sit there and watch a prisoner die. I mean, I guess maybe if there's a shitty prison. I mean, I know that our prison system is horrible right now, so I guess there could be, but I'm just saying that even prisoners get medical service. Even prisoners get, medical treatment. But these kids are just forced to sit there and die while their parents pray to some God that's not even there. He's verifiably not there, because I mean, you can't verify that he has done anything in this world, and that's one of the reasons why I'm an atheist. But anyways, but yeah, she wants to paint this as a persecution thing, that they're going after this sect of Christians just because of their beliefs, and I really think that it would just be attacked on multiple different levels. I don't know, I can't think right now what other levels it could be, but I would think that other portions of their faith would be on the attack that really was just because of their faith. So, yes, it is because the child mortality rate in your particular area of Idaho, not the rest of Idaho, mind you, just your area of Idaho has a reported child mortality rate 10 times higher than the entire state of Idaho. That is the sole reason why we want these fucking shield laws off the books. Because your particular area of Idaho is killing so many more kids. And that's just the reported. There have been sect members that have come out and said that the unreported number is actually a shit ton higher. So if you can just imagine that now it's 10 times higher than the child mortality rate of the state in general. So how can you sit there and be like, and act like it's just persecution of a religion or taking away religious freedoms, when that is the lowest estimated child mortality rate that you can even assign to your area of the state? It's not because of your religion. It's because you're fucking killing kids and letting the people get away with it. And I mean, for a group of people that are so adamantly against evolution, against science and everything, you sure are proving survival of the fittest. I mean, do you think that we developed these medicines because we were oh so fucking healthy to begin with? No, we developed these medicines so that we could not fucking die from them anymore. It's just so fucking stupid that these people are like this. But enough of that. Enough of this woman. And now we're going to talk about Harriet Tubman. I have to say that, Andrew Jackson has been on the $20 bill, of course, ever since I was a kid. I mean, I can't remember a time when there's been any other guy on the $20 bill. So I think that this change is good. I think Harriet Tubman's a good person to choose. She's a very prominent figure in our history. I mean, you learn about her in history class and everything. She, crap, I am really shitty with my history. I want to say Harriet Tubman played a pretty big role in the Underground Railroad. Correct me if I'm wrong with that in the comments down below. I could be dumb as fuck, but just let me know. But anyways, she was a really prominent history figure, and I think that it's a really good pick. But the problem that I have is that we're not removing In God We Trust from the back of it. Now, one caveat to this is that the design is wholly separate from the actual motto that's engraved on the back of every single bill. You actually have to pass. You would actually have to pass a new law to take off the In God We Trust on the back of it. Which, is fine, but that also requires Congress to pull the sticks out of their ass and actually read the Constitution, understand what it says, and then be like, holy fuck, this is unconstitutional, violates the First Amendment. They're not going to do that, though, are they? No, sir. They are not. They are not going to be doing it. But despite all of that, I thought that you might like to know some history behind In God We Trust, in case you didn't know it. If you didn't know, In God We Trust actually originated back at the Civil War times. The Union soldiers, or the Union Army, wanted to separate themselves out from the Confederates, so they decided to go ahead, pluck God right out the sky, put him on their side. Be like, we got God with us, in God we trust, because we gonna win! Is they said it in a more Yankee way, but, that's what they said. And so they wanted to separate themselves out from the Confederates. Now, how it actually got onto our bills, which before it was on our bills, it was actually on our coinage. Congress had passed a law where "In God We Trust" was on our coinage. And then in the 1950s, we were, of course, in the midst of the Cold War. We wanted to separate ourselves out yet again from another enemy, and that was the Soviets. And since the Soviets actually implemented state atheism, which state atheism and a secular government are two different things. State atheism is where the state is basically worshipped as a god. I mean, it replaces the religion. It becomes a religion. It becomes revered as much as a religion, and a similar thing could be said about North Korea. It kind of implements state atheism, I guess, because I mean, basically Kim Jong Un, Kim Jong Un, he's worshipped as a god, basically. So we wanted to separate ourselves out from those godless commies. So we put "In God We Trust" on the back of our money. We made it our national motto, and we also put "Under God" in our pledge. So that's where it was. That's where it was started. Now, a lot of people want to act like the "In God We Trust" has always been our national motto. It actually hasn't. We didn't actually. I want to say that we technically didn't have a national motto until like an official national motto until "In God We Trust," but the unofficial national motto was "E Pluribus Unum." It was on everything. I just don't think that it was actually written into law, and that's why it was so easy to write it into law in the 50s. Now, I have to say that I really support the "E Pluribus Unum" original motto project. The links are down below in the description. I highly suggest you hit them up, especially on Facebook and Twitter. That's where they do most of their stuff, most of their activism at. Definitely support them with your likes and your follows, because they're working really hard to try to combat all of these "In God We Trust" that we see everywhere. And with the changing of this bill, I mean, it was announced today, and I honestly haven't seen anybody raise a whole bunch of fuck ton of shit over it, but I'm just waiting for somebody to raise a fuck ton of shit over them changing it out. But, Alright, I was catching up on the comments. Yes, happy 420. I'm sorry to say that I am a state where I cannot celebrate that. But, all in all, sorry. All in all, I love the fact that Harriet Tubman's going to be on the $20 bill. I hate the fact that we still have the "In God We Trust" on the back. And a lot of people like to trivialize the "In God We Trust." They like to trivialize, it being on there and whatnot. I think that it's an important issue because we're seeing police departments put it on their police vehicles. We're seeing police departments actively proselytize Jesus, at traffic stops and whatnot. There was that one in, I believe it was Illinois or Indiana, one of them, and he was fired. But just imagine if one of these police, these police stations, or police counties that have "In God We Trust" on their vehicles, and their police officers start proselytizing Jesus to the people that they stop in traffic stops, because apparently they need to get right with Jesus. They breaking the law. They need to get right with Jesus. Can I get an amen? But just imagine if one of these police stations actually started proselytizing Jesus actively, and it was and they claim that it was part of their free speech, like it was part of their religious freedom in order to, on the job as a public service person, to actively proselytize Jesus using the public money, using public funds. I think that that's gonna happen eventually. I think that if it hasn't already happened, of course, there were those two cities where the Mormon fundamentalists invaded the state, invaded the local governments, but I'm talking about one of these other ones that have recently put "In God We Trust" on their vehicles. They want to act like it's not a statement of faith, but it is completely a statement of faith. I hate the fact that if my particular police department were to do this, that I wouldn't feel safe being pulled over by a police officer. I don't know if he's going to actively discriminate against me, if he's going to treat me a lot harsher. Like, I don't know these things. I don't know if he's going to try to proselytize me. And if I don't comply with his proselytization, maybe he'll, book me on some kind of trumped up charge. Like, oh, look, your taillight's out. And then he cracks my tail light somehow, and people just ignore the camera footage. I mean, I don't know what could happen. These sound like conspiracy theorist things. I understand. But I'm just thinking of all the different possibilities of what could happen. And with how crazy these religious people are, I think that it's entirely possible. So, anyways, that's the stand-up for tonight. Here in a minute on Twitch TV, Godless Engineer, I'm going to be streaming till I'm Zed. It's a competition to win a new webcam and some new headphones given by Undead Labs, the creators of State of Decay. So if you want to join me over there, please do. The link will be in the description below. Just simply reload the page and look for those. Also, be sure to go down there, hit those story links. Don't take my word for it. See the shit for yourself. Read it, understand it, form your own opinions. Don't just use my opinions, form your own. And, as always, have a good night.